This next gentleman here who comes to bury his body and say a few words. And I'll give you the opportunity also to stand up as we welcome the fourth president of the Kenya, the Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta. Karibu.
Thank you very much. Good afternoon, Church. Nelly, Waruru, Jerry, the entire family, friends. We're here today to both mourn but celebrate a man who was a dear and close friend to many of us. A man who was the life of any gathering. A man who was generous beyond any imagination. I had the opportunity to first meet Kanja in 1980. And in 1980, I was traveling to America for the very first time to begin my studies there. And we happened to travel with Sue Mathenge, Sue Derry now, I don't know whether she's here. There you are, yeah. She had been there before, so she was charged by my mother to ensure that I made it to school. So at that time I was in New Jersey and we traveled together. She got me to school, made sure we were settled. She at that time was a so she told me, if anything and you feel there's any issues, I have a cousin of mine. His name is Kanja. He doesn't live too far from here. I'll tell him you're around and I'll ask him to check on you and to see how you're doing. And that was that. In America, they have all these short holidays. You know, I don't know, Thanksgiving, I don't know. They're all there, different little holidays. Where unfortunately, foreign students have nowhere to go. You just remain in school because school is closed. Where are you going for 3-4 days? I used to work in the library in the school. So one day with another foreign student, I'm walking back from the library back to the dormitory. And out of the blue, I hear this loud voice shouting, "Hey, where?" Both me and my friend, we turn around, looking and not recognizing it. Yeah, you, the African. I was like, I don't know how you knew the other fellow was not African, since we also have a white African. And he came up and he says, "Are you so-and-so?" I said, "Yeah." He said, I was told by my cousin to hold your hand." I'm like, "Oh, so you must be Kanja." "Yes, I'm Kanja." "What are you doing?" "Nothing." "My car is just parked over here. Let's go, just pick a few things, we go to my place." I looked at this stranger fellow who was so confident, just telling me to get into this. I proceeded to do just that. Got into his car and we traveled to his apartment. And that became my second home. To the extent that one day, As you heard, he used to work at UPS. I took the train and traveled to Jersey City, where he was based. And I happened to arrive there. Kanja had already gone to work. So there was, in his apartment block, there was a place, the ground floor, where we used to go and have tea. So I decided I was going to wait for him there. So waited. Because I knew eventually when he came from work, he had to come through this tea place. He would find me there. So he came and he asked me, yeah. Eventually, yeah, how long have you been? I thought, only about a couple of hours. He said, hey, look, we have to, what you do now, tomorrow morning, I'll sort this out so you don't have to always just wait for me here. The next morning, he went, he made a copy of a key of his apartment, he gave it to me and told me, you know, whenever you're here, you just, and the couch is there, ni kwako nyumbani. And we started a relationship from that day to date. Came back, and we eventually came back home, got into partnership, various business ventures which we tried out. I eventually went into politics. Got into that. Kanja was still around, and in fact, during my very early days, he used to be one of my agents. And as you know, the party I belonged to those days was not very popular in my part of the world. So he has also eaten a few stones on my behalf. Being my agent. And we continued our friendship all the way through. I'll never forget, even when I was president, Kanja would never address me as president. He would never address me as Your Excellency. As you've heard, he had a nickname for everybody. Me, I was always, Papa, how are you doing? Then the other thing he was very good at is sharing, as you've heard, you know. He was very active on his phone. So I can assure you I suffered immensely during my tenure as president, because any of these memes, the one that showed me in the worst light, you can guarantee Kanja will forward me. He would ensure it's forwarded, and you know, with that, those emojis of laughing. So I'd call him and tell him, you know, Kanja, you know, why are you doing this? Why don't you? No, wait, check, it's funny, isn't it funny? But he continued, and as I said, even December 12th, we were all together. No one would ever have imagined that the lively Kanja that we saw on that day, within a very short period of time, would not be with us. Even during that whole time, and before, he would still now share emojis and memes, but now a different guy. And in fact, the last message he sent me was almost, I think, the beginning of January. And the most amazing thing is he never mentioned anything about him being unwell, as we have heard here from Waruru. He was still sending his jokes. He was still keeping everybody's spirit high. And it was only when I bumped into Gary at another function where we lost my cousin that he told me, you know, our friend is in hospital. I said, what? He told me, he's in hospital. I told him, just less than 2 days ago, he didn't show any. So I went to see him. Weak, but he didn't want to talk about his illness. He wanted to talk to me about what a wonderful December he had with his family and how he was encouraging them to meet regularly and how that they would have to continue to be together and to get to know each other more. Told me about the unfortunate incident of Wairimu's husband. But he would not talk about his illness. When I asked him, so how are you feeling? I'm okay, I'm okay. I'm just waiting for the arrangements to be made to go to India and they'll fix me up. And I'll be fine. He showed nothing. Despite the fact that you could see he was struggling, he showed no sign and did not even want it to become a discussion. And that was Kanja, a man, brave, loyal, and he did that because he didn't want it to affect anybody else. But I also agree with Waruru as we move forward. I think we should be honest about some of these things, and maybe if we're honest about them early enough, maybe something can be done. But Kanja lived his life to the fullest. There's no question about that. Kanja was one of those friends who was there, good times or bad. And I think the lesson of his life is a lesson to each and every one of us. We shall miss him, this great, joyful, happy man who made sure that nobody was ever really left behind or left out. Made you feel involved, made you feel loved, made you feel wanted, made you part and parcel of whatever was going on. We shall miss you, Kanja. And to Nelly, your family, we are always there for you. Whatever you shall need, whenever you require, you're in our thoughts, you're in our prayers. And our friendship does not cease because Kanja is with us. Our friendship, as he taught us, continues regardless. May God rest his soul in eternal peace and grant us all comfort in our hearts and grant his family the strength to endure the next years without him, and rather than mourn, to cherish and to be happy about the moments that God gave you to be with this wonderful man. Mungu awabariki na awalinde. Asante sana.
Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for those moving words about a true friend of yours.
ya kukupea nguvu, motisha. Ndio ukifika mahali unakunywa soda, unanunulia mtoto kitabu, saa zingine unapanda boda kama una gari, unaweza kufika. Hapo mbeleni hamkuwa mnapewa kitu. Na saa hii serikali imewafikiria sana, ikawaweka mpaka kwa law.
Can get the mastectomy bra, can get the prosthesis and all other devices that we need. So, and the best thing that I'd advise, if I came here and had my breast removed, let the hospital, ulifutwa kazi, biashara ilianguka, watu hawataki kukuona, wakikuona wewe ni omba, wakiona simu yako, huyu anataka pesa. So if these people are brought and given things, I know people who are doing wonders. And for example, umeona leshao, ne preventable. Kwa huo athuri motirere atumia, na cio ciana citikiria guthecwo. Na aria maraiga ni tumaga andu matikae guciara, aria mathecirwo mbere mario kuna no turamona. Rekei tutikage kuhura maundu mothe maria moka. Maundu mamwe ni magutuguna, no ni turagwo ni maundu mangituteithia ni kuhura siasa niguo. Koguo ni twitikira ciana ciarwo cukuru ni guratheca no tuiritu. Twita aciari tutige gukararia. Ni rucio rwitu rura, but we can work towards a common good and a common factor. And all we are saying is that we want to eliminate cervical cancer. Wazee wanakataza wamama wapeleke watoto wasidungwe shindano. Unaambiwa atheso muthiete nake. Ni jukumu yetu. Athuri ni twitikira isiana cito cia tuiretu cithecwo cindano ino ya cervical ya HPV mwana wa miaka 9 nginya 10 ama nyumba ya mama inafungana namna hiyo na hakuna kitu inaweza ingia. Most of the time watu wanaambiwa watumie carrot ama kando waeke condom wa insert. That is not the best thing that we can do for our women and for our aunties and for ourselves. I know that there are devices and the radiologists wanajua hiyo maneno, wanaweza saidia wa mama sababu inaleta problem, sababu familia zina vinye tunaweza tenganisha zote mbili. Na tunasema matibabu inapatikana hapa Kenya, lakini kuna changamoto. I want to echo the fellow survivors who stood here.
Mchache tu. Karibu Lucy.
Yeah, Kariuki who prayed for us. Asante sana, mpigieni makofi. Then we have Madam Everine over there. That's our board member, JM. So thank you very much. So with your jisajirisha, there is kuna support yenye inakuja kutoka kwa SHA. We are at the beginning and I know this program is becoming better and better. Thank you very much. I don't want to go beyond here. So asante sana and God bless you. You said wamekuwa very good partners kwa hii kazi. We have National Cancer Control Program. Sijui kama kuna representatives wa hao. I would like to recognize them kama wako around.
Kuna maharagwe na hii magonjwa yote iko kwa nini? Kwa nchi yetu tutayangamiza. Asanteni.
Duniani tuiangamize kansa, tuiangamize kansa, kweli tuiangamize kansa, nchini tuiangamize kansa, Afrika tuiangamize kansa, duniani tuiangamize kansa.
Seria da beauty. Iye. Oha mwena geni yake. Iye na. Ona fasede wetu. Iye. Kegu serio andu othe. Iye nande.
Okay. So we are here to assist in the marriage.
The Excellency, we have equipment were given by the SLH in 2021. A training was conducted and part of it is the colposcope. We use it to optimize the visualization and means cervical motion. In case there's a problem, we're able to sort of immediately the lips which are available. My colleagues will take on the other modalities.
Here we have thermal ablators. These are used to treat the cervical lesions which are less than 75%. That one is more than 75%. For the smaller lesions, we have the cryotherapy, which uses freezing technology to freeze the lesions. Then here we have a newer device which uses heat technology to freeze the lesions.
Anesthesia. Yeah. And we are doing this in Kenya. Yes. This is our gynecologist. Yes.
Hii serikali ya William Samoei Ruto tulipoingia Ministry ya Health, kitu ya kwanza, hata ukijenga nyumba lazima ujenge yenye iko na good foundation. Na kitu ya kwanza tulifanya katika Ministry ya Health ilikuwa kulete laws. Primary Healthcare Act ile imewatambua nyinyi. Facility Improvement Financing Act ya 2023, Social Health Insurance Act ya 2023 na Digital Health Act ya 2023. Kwa hivyo hii SHA iko kwa hiyo law ya Social Health Insurance Financing Act ya 2023. Na ninajua mambo mengi sana imesemwa. Mimi ningependa kuambia ya kwamba hata muradi yako, ile muradi ya kuku unaanzanga na ile ya ng'ombe unaanzanga. Saa zingine unaweza amka asubuhi unakuta kuku zote imekufa. Si ni ukweli? Unaweza amka unakuta mahindi ama waru ile umepanda yote imekauka. It is the same thing with government programs. Saa zingine unaweza kuta ingine haifanyi kazi, lakini tunaweka laini tena. Kwa hivyo hata SHA, labda kuna ile magonjwa bado hatujafikia ama hatujaweza kurekebisha vizuri ndio ikuwe inatibiwa yote. Lakini hiyo maneno tunaendelea kuangalia. Ukiuliza hapa Nyandarua, utakuta kuna wengine wameenda mpaka theater, anakuambia SHA imenilipia kila kitu. Si ni ukweli? Lakini kuna mwingine bado ameenda akasema SHA haikunisaidia kabisa. Kwa hivyo mtupatie nafasi, na mimi kama PS wenu ndio tuendelee kukaa chini kujua ni changamoto gani iko hapa kwa SHA, ndio iweze kusaidia kila Mkenya na kila mtu. Lakini nirudie niseme, utasaidikaje kama hujajiandikisha? Kujiandikisha ni bure. Ile ndio tent iko pale. Usiende nyumbani leo kama hujajiandikisha, na uandikishe watoto wako kama dependents. Kujiandikisha ni bure. Hawa watoto hapa unaona, mbeleni ile NHIF tulikuwa wako na scheme inaitwa Edu Afya. Lakini ile Edu Afya ilikuwa inashughulikia tu wale watoto walikuwa secondary school. Sasa kama mtoto wako primary school, ameenda kucheza mpira, ameanguka, mwalimu lazima akupigie simu. Mama Wanjiko, doki omogero mutware thibitari. Sasa hatutaki maneno kama hiyo. Mtoto akienda nyumbani, akienda shuleni asubuhi kusoma, anarudi jioni na homework kufanya. Si kuitiwa mtoto ndio umpeleke hospitali, kwa sababu SHA itakuwa inagharamia hiyo. Mtoto akigonjeka akiwa shule anapelekwa hospitali, kesi baadaye. Hawa wamama wajawazito tena, kuna program ilikuwa inaitwa Linda Mama, iko pia mpaka sai. Lakini kitambo hapo NHIF ilikuwa inagharamia tu huyu mama saa yenye ameenda kujifungua. Saa hii tunasema hiyo mimba uko nayo, enda kwa daktari kwanza uangaliwe kama mtoto amelala vizuri, ama kama hata wewe mwenyewe uko sawa, enda clinic. So inashughulikia mambo ya prenatal, during delivery and post. Sasa usipate mtoto ukaenda nyumbani, mtoto ako na macho iko mbaya mbaya, na bado hurudi hospitali kuambiwa kwa nini. Ama hata wewe mwenyewe unajua, hata sisi wa mama ukijifungua kuna ile nguvu inatokanga, si ndio? Saa zingine bones zimekuwa imelegea hivi, ni vizuri kurudi pale hospitali ndio uambiwe kama hata mwili yako iko sawa, even your mental health. Na mambo ya mental health sasa tumeiweka kwa SHA. Ukiwa na hiyo ID yako, na wamama hai, tafadhali tusiwekewe ID na wazee wetu. Pata ID yako wewe mwenyewe, sawa? Upate ID yako wewe na wazee, tafadhali mualau hawa wamama wapate IDs. Wamama wapate nini? IDs. Si kwa sababu unaenda kuuza shamba ama kufanya kitu yoyote, lakini ni kwa sababu you need it to access quality government services. Kama unahitaji kujiandikisha kwa SHA, hatutaki kadi tena, hiyo ID ndio unatumia.
Tutahakikisha kwamba katika facilities yote, kutoka chiefs offices wote, everybody will be mobilized kuhakikisha kwamba people register for SHA. Of course, mambo mengi ya SHA yamezungumzwa hapa, but I normally tell people, hata ndege, kuna wengine wameingia kwa ndege, hata ndege kabla haijapaa kwanza inakimbia kama 2 kilometers on the runway, on the ground, ndio ipate ile sasa nguvu ya kupaa. Kwa hivyo tusione ya kwamba kila transition is smooth. These small things about tunaongea mambo ya SHA, there are a lot of good stories there.
Na vile vile hata kuko na kansa ya wanaume, ile prostate cancer. Basi Madam PS wenye wametoa ushuhuda hapo wamesikia mambo ya SHA iko na shida. Sababu the cost of treating cancer, it becomes a very expensive process. And therefore, for us to make clear interventions as a government, a national government, county government, is to ensure that that cost is well, it can be met by the government by this process of the compliance, because SHA is a comprehensive health insurance.
Breast cancer is the cancer number 1 in women, and cervical cancer is cancer number 2 in women, but cancer number 1 that leads to death. All cancers together are the second leading cause of death in terms of global deaths, meaning that so many people die. 10 million people die every year as a result of cancer, and this can lead to like 1 person dying every day, 1 out of 6 people dying every day. Of all the deaths, 1 out of 6 is as a result of cancer. We have to do something.
CHPs, tumeagana aje? Tuende kwa manyumbani, tuongee na wamama wote na wababa wote. Waende nini? Screening. Na screening hapa county government ya Nyandarua is free. Mahospitali zote. Sasa kwa nini tusifanyiwe screening? Wengine wanasema unajua ukiingishwa kwa hiyo shimo zingine utagonjeka zaidi. Yani zile vitu tunasikianga huku nje saa zingine hata unashangaa. Sasa nyinyi ndio soldiers, na tusiitikie kuingishwa kwa siasa ya mambo ya afya. Ugonjwa hauna boundary. Ugonjwa ikiingia kwa neighbor, hata we ni mgonjwa. Ugonjwa ikiingia kwa dada yako, hata wewe ni mgonjwa. Labda hautakuwa mgonjwa physically, but mentally itakuwa inakusumbua. Kwa hivyo mambo ya afya tuyalinde sana, na tuweze kupatia watu nafasi kuielewa na kuwaelezea ile maneno inayofaa. Mambo ya screening, mambo ya vaccination na treatment tunaiweka kwa basket moja. 90% vaccination ya hawa wasichana wadogo. Ati wale wasichana wadogo wako 14 years and below, tukue tumewa vaccinate 90% of them in this country. Kama ni mambo ya screening, na ningeomba CHP leo, mukienda huko mashinani, muende mukitoa kila mtu. Watu waende wapi? Hospitali. This country records about 5,226 new cases and 3,211 deaths for cervical cancer annually. Kila mwaka hapa nchini watu 5,236 new cases. Utaenda kwa hospitali, tuko na data, tunaambiwa hawa ndio wamepatwa na kansa, wamepatikana wako na kansa. Na kukufa 3,211. Kila mwaka tunapoteza wapendwa wetu. Cervical cancer in particular is the leading cause of cancer deaths in women and second most prevalent cancer overall. Wanawake wengi sana wale wanakufa kwa sababu ya ugonjwa ya kansa. Mimi mwenyewe dada yangu nimemzika last year kwa sababu ya kansa. Kansa yake ilijulikana kama iko stage 4. Hatunge reverse. Si mimi ndio nimesimamia madaktari. Ningekuwa na uwezo si ningesema daktari wote wakuja wamtibu, sababu ni dada yangu. Lakini sasa ilikuwa imefika mahali hata hatungeweza, hata ningempeleka hospitali gani haingeweza kuwa reversed. Kwa sababu labda ingekuwa hapo mwaka wa 2018 akuwe screened, angepatikana labda iko stage 1 na tungeweza kufanya nini? Aende treatment.
About the payment, wamesema matibabu ya cancer is usually very expensive. Unauza ng'ombe, unauza shamba, unafanya harambee. And up to now still it's expensive, but that time mimi nilitumia NHIF na iliketa almost everything. But as for now kuna ka challenge which I believe our CS, as the transition inaendelea, I would request our wagonjwa wetu tuko na wao hapa waendelee kutibiwa as you smoothen the transition, waache kuteseka, because some are still at home, wanaenda wanaambiwa hawatatibiwa kwa sababu ya the SHA, but we believe utatutengenezea hiyo maneno.
9 women in Kenya die every single day from cervical cancer. Kutoka asubuhi mpaka sasa, we have lost about 5 women. These are our mothers, our sisters, our aunties, our friends. This is a catastrophe. Now, over the past 1 week, mumeona hii maneno ya USAID, saying they are stopping funding and so on. Other developments that are coming our way is the phasing out of Gavi funding. This is a global AIDS vaccine initiative that supports us to procure various vaccines, including the human papillomavirus vaccine, which is used to prevent cervical cancer. So what does this mean for us as a country? Lazima tukae tonjo. We have to start investing ourselves into this priority of eliminating cervical cancer. The Ministry of Health has recognized this catastrophe, and through the cancer control strategy, has committed to achieve the 90-70-90 targets. What does this mean? We want to ensure that 90% of our girls are vaccinated. Umesikia maneno hiyo vaccine inapeanwa. 70% are screened. Tunajua wale wako na hiyo ugonjwa. And 90% are treated who have cancer. Now in countries in the global north kama America, Europe, it is very rare kusikia mtu amekufa na cervical cancer, because they have the tools to eliminate that.